sometimes in this job you feel like you're hallucinating, I'm about to compliment Kamala Harris, who makes a great point here in 2018, flanked by Republicans talking about the threat of voter fraud in our country. Have a listen.
To audit, but also what they can do around best practices and best machinery. We are talking with them about the fact that it is probably best that you do not have your election system connected to the internet, because that will create greater vulnerabilities. And then look at where we are now in this year of our Lord 2018. We're talking about paper ballots, but that actually might be one of the smartest systems.
Wow! I don't disagree with any of that. I agree with all of that. And what happened to that, Kamala Harris? Oh, yeah, that was before she was selected to be the DEI body double for this guy.
Together. And you guys did it for our the President Obama's administration before this. We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
The most extensive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics. It's amazing we were screamed at by the corporate media to just take Joe Biden at his word. He's so honest, he's so straight, he's so direct. Except for this one time when he said that we built the greatest voter fraud organization in American history. You want to know what that looks like? It looks like this. This is the 2012 vote tallies. Historic Barack Obama getting this number of votes, 65 million. Here's 2016, Donald Trump winning with the Electoral College, but Hillary Clinton securing the popular vote there. Here's what happened in 2020, what the literal hell. Somehow 20 million new Democrats were printed out of thin air, literally printed. And then here's what happened in 2024. Can anybody explain this? Where the hell did those people go? I think you can understand why Republican votes gained in these subsequent elections, clearly. But where'd 20 million? So 20 million Democrats just disappeared? Just decided vanished? It's like a considerable percentage of the population of this country. 330 million Americans, 20 million. That's a little more than a drop in the bucket. Yeah. We all know what happened, ladies and gentlemen. And you can find article after article after article of faking mail-in ballots. Look at that. Okay, got it. Democrats arrested in mass mail-in balloting scheme. This scheme was really special. They were going to, this was in New Jersey, they were paying people between $30 and $50 a vote to go to people's mailboxes, steal their ballots from the mailboxes, rip the ballots open, fill them out, and then deliver them to the drop boxes. This has criminal charges. These people caught federal criminal cases. Political organizer, former president of the City Council of Atlantic City, charged with submitting fraudulent mail-in ballots. Hundreds and hundreds of them, ladies and gentlemen. Arizona County officials indicted on election interference charges. This one was great. They are on camera literally filling out the ballots in front of the drop box. They had a stack of them. They brought a table to fill out the ballots, and then you just dumped them in. They never thought they'd get caught. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a massive, massive amount of voter fraud all throughout the country. It's something that happens every single election. The Heritage Foundation actually has a voter fraud map where you can go and see all of the cases that are currently ongoing of voter fraud in every state. Voter fraud cases in every single state. But there's one state that I'd like to look into right here, Connecticut. Because something very interesting is happening in Connecticut. In Connecticut, the people who have committed mass voter fraud on camera are finally all going to prison. They've been charged with election crimes stemming from 2023 Bridgeport primary. So here's what happened. You might remember Wanda the Stuffer. Wanda the Stuffer was made famous because she's literally on camera shoving massive piles of ballots into the drop box. She has a giant garbage bag of ballots. Then she's on camera like bragging about it. Now, these individuals were arrested. Here are their mugshots. They're all members of the Democrat Party. Really, a real real group of winners. This is clearly the winner's circles here. Yes, there you go. Smile for your mugshot, jackasses. Here we go. These are the mugshots. Democrat county officials, they were all brought in on charges. You know, it's a Democrat state, so I didn't expect anything would ever happen. But we live in the Trump era, and things have changed. 5 people, including 3 Bridgeport council members and the vice chairman of the city Democrat Party, were charged with election-related crimes on Friday as part of a sprawling investigation into the 2023 Democrat primary. The problem is that the mayor who rigged the election here is still in power. So it's like so hard to fix voter fraud once it's already happened. You know, remember this map, right? Like how do you fix it? What mechanism is there to actually like correct the fraud? This is something that happened 2 years ago. It's obvious. It's all on camera. Connecticut Chief State Attorney's Office announced Friday that city council members are facing numerous criminal charges for either misrepresenting who is eligible to vote absentee, fraudulent voting, taking possession of voters' absentee ballots, or being present while voters filled out those ballots. Meanwhile, Wanda, the stuffer, the vice chair of the city's Democrat Town Committee, is facing 92 separate criminal charges, including conspiracy to take possession of multiple voters' ballots and absentee ballots. A 5th person was charged for participating in the absentee ballot push during the 2023 election, allegedly took possession of at least 4 absentee ballots. Another person in the Democrat Party is facing the most serious charge. It became the face of the 2023 election scandal when she was captured on surveillance footage. Oh, this is Wanda, the stuffer, referred to by her last name here, depositing stacks of absentee ballots into a drop box outside the city's government center. Then she went on to go work for the mayor that she rigged the election for. Of course, you remember this. This was the video. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Wanda, the vice chair of the Democrat Party, amazing how that always works that way, but I don't care. If you're a Republican and you rig an election, I want you to go to jail too. There was like a obscure thing for a Republican in Sioux City, Iowa. And we cheered it on this channel, okay? Just to show you how ideologically consistent we are. We cheered it on, send that person to prison too. She was a Republican. She was going and filling out absentee ballots too, fraudulently in Sioux City, Iowa, to go help her husband, I think, who was running for office, if I remember correctly. Okay, good. You won't find any problem with me if it's Republicans doing it. No voter fraud. Here's the local news reporting on this exciting development.
People have been charged in connection to the Bridgeport absentee ballot scandal. It actually caused a redo of the mayoral election last year.
And we now know one of the suspects, Wanda Geter-Pataki, was caught on video, of course, allegedly stuffing an absentee ballot box. The video pushed candidate John Gomes to call for a second election where he ultimately lost to Mayor Joe Ganim.
Geter-Pataki, who is a Bridgeport city employee, has also been charged for fraudulently handling absentee ballot applications in 2019. All 5 people facing charges are out on bond and will be in court next month.
Right now.
So they've been charged. We need guilty convictions and we need jail time. There's no other way to fix this than to start to take scalps, literally. And more importantly, like, do these people understand that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are in charge of investigating voter fraud now in the country? They understand that? Like, it's very, very different from the lobotomized corpse that was, of course, creating, and I quote, the single greatest voter fraud organization in American history. Yeah. You want to know how bad this was? Because all this voter fraud happens, the vast majority of it happens with mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots being sent to everybody's address. Yeah, so mail-in ballots go out to every home. Then all of the mail-in ballots are then harvested. Most of the voters don't even get their ballots. That's what happened in Massachusetts, right? You remember this.
Officials in Lawrence have ordered a recount of votes during their investigation into possible voter fraud. That recount is scheduled to take place tomorrow. NBC 10 Boston obtained this exclusive video of what you're looking at, showing what appears to be a woman removing ballots from a home mailbox. As of yesterday afternoon, there were 2 instances of stolen ballots.
So, They just put your ballot, your sacred right to vote, they just put that in your mailbox. Some loser comes up, grabs it, votes for you. The lady whose ballot that was, she wasn't allowed to vote. There's video of it. She says, that's not my signature. I didn't vote. And they're like, can't do anything about it. You want to know how this happens? That's where the 20 million, that's where you get 20 million new voters, okay? You have this operation at scale. CNN accidentally caught voter fraud in the year 2020. One of these votes, for sure, maybe hundreds or thousands of these votes, caught
ballot
on camera.
drop box in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. You can see this woman right here casting her vote. Did you vote for Reagan or Jimmy Carter? Carter, okay. We don't want to get too personal with people here, but you can see there's actually a traffic jam. We can come around this way and you can see there are cars.
The lady who says she's so Democrat that she voted for Jimmy Carter. I mean, this is like a blowout. You know, Reagan won like 49 states, okay? So if you voted for Jimmy Carter, you are like the Democrats, you're like a Democrat activist, okay? Here she is with literally fistfuls of ballots. Of course, it's illegal in Ohio to handle anybody else's ballot other than your own. Here she is with literally stacks of ballots. Publisher clearinghouse, fistfuls of ballots. CNN capturing it live. What a clown show. I know there's a lot of people that we want to put in jail, but I'm begging the Trump administration to absolutely make examples of these people, drag their asses out, perp walks, frog marches, right into prison if you're caught committing voter fraud on a federal level, federal charges, federal prison. Make a message. It has to be one of the top 3 most important things in America right now.